We're on the banks of the River Churnet at the bottom of Alton Hill, and again this is a very important site. We are standing on a battle site, the Battle of Slane Hollow. It was a fight between two Saxon kings, King Coilred, who owned this land, and King Ine of Wessex, who wanted to claim it. Further up the valley, in Alton Towers, is Ine's Rock, where King Ine, fleeing from a wrathful Coilred, hid, and eventually made it back to Wessex to continue his reign. Before fleeing back to Wessex, Ine cursed the land, and within months Coilred had died a horrible death at Banquet, an insane, gibbering wreck. Beneath the nunnery or convent, built initially as a hospital by the good Earl, John Talbot, Earl of Shrewsbury, there are a series of passageways, mostly from the Norman period. The wooden Saxon castle was built on this site, and the Normans developed it under Bertram de Verdun III, creating underground chambers and corridors, some of which lead under the moat to the site of the present-day Alton Castle. One was opened during the 60s, but it is now sadly blocked up. The entrance was on the valley side of the nunnery and led down some steps to underneath the building. Here there were coffins of the dead from who knows how long ago, and the further in you went, so the place became more disturbing, with open burials the norm. This area was known as the Catacombs, and boys from the prep school presumed that the bodies were of dead nuns and dead monks. Almost opposite the entry to the catacombs are some steps leading down into the valley. They lead today to nowhere, stopping abruptly. A former teacher at the prep school from the late 50s began a working party of boys to clear the growth around the walls of the convent area and some of the valley. Work proceeded rapidly, and the paths down through the valley also began to clear and become accessible. However, work was suddenly forbidden by the Mother Superior. It must proceed no further. Had an entrance to one of the underground passages been rediscovered, and had some treasure been found? We will never ever know. And so finally to this old oak tree, the most famous tree in Alton. Well, as I say, I knew this as the Druids' oak, and Druids were plentiful around Wiston, Cotton and Alton. They had many special altars on which to sacrifice their livestock to the gods, and the rock here on the right of the Druids' oak was, it is believed, their special altar for sacrificing humans in time of desperation. The blood from the rock would run down the tree, along the grooves of the roots, which look even today like feet and toes. The tree flourished on the human blood. Let me tell you that no local will climb these steps. They instinctively know that these very worn steps lead to the altar of sacrifice, and bad things happen to locals who climb these very steps. We then, of course, have the legend of the chained oak. The most repeated is the tale of the old lady who was near the oak when the Earl of Shrewsbury's coach passed by. The coach slowed, and when the Earl asked what she was doing on the coach track, the old lady begged for a coin. He dismissed her, and she placed a curse upon his family with the following words: "For every branch on the old oak tree here that falls, a member of the Earl's family will die. The Earl also dismissed this and carried on his way. That night, during a violent storm, a single branch from the oak tree broke and fell. And later that same night, a member of the Earl's family suddenly and mysteriously died. To prevent any more deaths, the Earl ordered his servants to chain up every branch together in order to prevent other branches from falling. And to this day, the oak tree does remain chained up. I knew it didn't refer to me. So much for that curse of locals going up those steps. And there we have it. Nothing's going to happen to me. Nothing. It's all safe.